Revolutionary greetings, folks. This is Victor Coronado alongside Nick Ayala. This is Sons of Fidel, episode 35. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Oscar Smith. He's a Sandinista. He's based out of Nicaragua. Nick and Oscar, how you guys doing?
Really good. Thank you so much for asking.
I'm doing well, man.
Good. To the audience, please like, please subscribe, please share. And again, we're always encouraging folks to consider donating. Check out Anti-Conquista. This is a Anti-Conquista initiative. So our website is anticonquista.com. You can check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. So please, again, share, please like, please subscribe, please check us out on all social media platforms. So let's get right into it. Oscar, mi hermano, ¿cómo estamos? How we doing? How's it going?
Really good. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well also. Here is August the 10th in Nicaragua. It's a holiday. The Christians here, they celebrate Santo Domingo. So most of the people are resting right now.
From partying? They were partying last night?
There were a lot of party everywhere. There were also some people that they always ask for miracles to Santo Domingo, and I heard with the people. I talked with a lot of people yesterday, and they were telling me that they were asking prayers to make all those countries that are speaking against Nicaragua without not knowing the reality about what's going on. They were praying to make them to change them heart, and they were praying also to make an opposition in Nicaragua that will be promoting some kind of protest, some kind of strategy with brotherhood with all of the people from Nicaragua, not asking to other nations to invade us, to promote sanctions. And then that was overall the prayers that I heard yesterday.
Pues un pueblo muy creyente. It's a people that believes in God, very very much believes in God, and also has a lot of faith.
Yes, we have different kind of religions. We have different groups. We have also people that they don't have any kind of religious belief. But this is actually a democratic country that is open to everybody, to every individual. If there is any religions that wanna maybe start promoting his philosophy here in Nicaragua, this country is open to everybody.
Tú eres indígena, ¿verdad? You're indigenous.
Yes, I'm indigenous. I come from the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. The name of my indigenous community is called Mezquito. Nicaragua is a really big country. It's the biggest of Central America. We have different, different ethnical groups. We have a group that is called Mayagnas in the Caribbean coast also. We have Garifunas. We have Mezquito. We have African Nicaraguan communities, and then we have people that are known as mestizos in Spanish, people that are mixed between Spanish colonizers or invaders and local people also.
Nick, you got any follow-up questions?
No, I not yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So also, so you're indigenous. How about the indigenous community? Let's say specifically your indigenous community. Mezquito, is that how you say it? Mezquito?
Mezquito, yes.
Mezquito. What religion, if any, do your people have?
My group, my ethnical group, they have a church that is called Morava. That was a religion coming from the Czech Republic, from Europe. They started with John Hus. It was the founder of this religion, and that's actually what we believe right now about God. It's a really good a good belief. I can tell because all of our communities are really pacifist. They always are good people. They like to share a lot. And it came to my mind that yesterday was the International Day of Indigenous Communities, and then more than 23 communities in Nicaragua, we signed a document. With this document, we are supporting the president of Nicaragua, Commander Daniel Ortega. In this letter, we are telling to the world that with the Sandinista Revolution back in 1987, we as indigenous communities, we were included to the rest of the country. Before, we were really apart. A lot of poverty, a lot of distractions by foreign companies. But then with the Sandinista Revolution, they started to make something that we call the autonomous law. With this autonomous law, they founded the Caribbean coast of the north and the Caribbean coast of the south. With this, they are giving us the power to have our own way of government, our own culture, language, etc. And then also with this letter that we signed and post yesterday, we are telling to the people that this is actually the only government that is promoting a lot of projects and is reducing a lot of poverty, extreme poverty. Is promoting a lot of projects to build roads, bridges. Is promoting a lot of hospitals. During this government, there are two really big hospitals that they were built in the Caribbean coast. There are a lot of sectors that this government is promoting, and many of Sandinista political party is composed by indigenous communities, and 50% of is composed by indigenous women.
So that's one of the things that I guess was on my mind. Was you talk about all these ethnicities and indigenous communities in Nicaragua? How has the government really come in and supported them, both after the revolution and currently? And you kind of explained that a little bit through representation, through these social programs. So would you say that now, after the Sandinista Revolution, with President Ortega in power, that we're seeing kind of the rights and the autonomy and the sovereignty of a lot of these indigenous communities respected?
Yes. To be honest with you, back in the 1976, we used to have a lot of foreign companies. They were supporting the previous government of Somoza. And during that moment, they were destroying a lot of the rainforest that we had in the Caribbean coast. They didn't build anything for us. It was like an apartheid, what we suffered during those government. Then with the Sandinista Revolution, we started to have we start being part of the political constitution of Nicaragua. That was the first time that we were included in the law. Thanks to the government, they started to provide a lot of titles for our territories. And in 1987 was a really nice moment for us, because at that point we were included like citizens of Nicaragua. Before, we were not anything, actually. We were just people exploited by the foreign companies that Somoza brought to the country. Then that was in 1987. Then in the 1990s, we lose the elections because there was a woman running with the support of the U.S. government. She won the elections, and then it started again, the apartheid. She was in the government, but she was trying to eliminate the law of autonomous, we call like that. And they didn't promote any project. We have like more than 16 years of right-wing people in the power, supported by the U.S. They didn't do anything for us. They didn't bring any road. Before, to go to my hometown, you had to spend like more than 48 hours in a bus because the road was not was not any road to arrive to my hometown. You will see a lot of people, pregnant women dying in the communities because there were not any hospitals. There were not any inclusion to us to study in the university. But then I always say to everybody that I'm the best example of what the revolution has done to the country. And for example, right now I have the dream to. I had the dream when I was a kid to study in a public university, to go to other countries and to learn languages. That was something that always I like. And then when I was in the period of the government of the right wing, it was really complicated. There were not any support to indigenous communities. It was like a racism, and when it comes to the politics for the right wing um, leaders, they were racist. You will be able to see mayors, deputies, minister only like light skinned people. They didn't include or people in the power. Then what I can tell right now, I started supporting or political party since 2005. I was supporting the political party since that moment. I supported the elections of my major, also secretary of the major in my hometown, and all of these leaders are indigenous people that they have been always there supporting the community. Now,
Sandinistas, the Sandinistas.
Sandinista, yes, they are indigenous, but they are part of the political party Frente Sandinista. And now with this post that yesterday we did, we are doing it because we are part also of the Sandinista political party. When we talk about indigenous rights, right now is the only moment in history that we have the chance to have a lot of maybe deputies, indigenous, mayors, indigenous. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of projects. Before we used to have a lot of women that used to die in the roads because there were not any hospitals. With this government, we have a lot of something that we call Casa Materna. So this is actually like houses that are built for people that live really far from hospitals. So the pregnant woman can come to these houses, and they can stay there before, after they give a birth, and after they are okay to go back to them communities. With this, the government has decreased a lot the death for women that died because they were pregnant and they were trying to give a birth, and at the end of the day, the kid and also the mother died. But now in this government, we are shining a lot. We are shining a lot with rights.
Yeah. So I really like when you talk about what it was like for the indigenous population before and after the revolution. You use the word and even during the 90s and that time in between. You use the word apartheid. And
Yeah.
I like that where I think it's a good, use of it there. My question is, so on one side of the apartheid you have the indigenous communities who are being exploited and oppressed. Who is on the other side?
Uh,
Who is doing that, the
yeah,
oppressed?
definitely. The ones that were doing that was the right wing political party. It was Somoza, that was a dictator that was supported by the U.S. government. During that moment, this country had a really good economy, etc. A good economy, they call it like that. It was a lot of money in the budget, but that money was only for Somoza and his close friends. I don't really like the way that the people from the right wing, they promote the government. For example, during that moment, Somoza was the first one that was taking all the money, all of the resources. He was promoting a lot of development, building roads only to them businesses. They were polluting also the earth. They were polluting also the lakes that we have here in Managua, because they bring a lot of companies, a lot of banana companies, cotton companies, companies that were exploding the gold in my hometown, and they used to throw all the poison in the rivers, and the money was taken from us, was exploded from more resources, and the money fled away to the big corporations in Canada, US, and so far and so on. And they promoted only development for the people that was close to them. That's why if you come now to Nicaragua, you will see that there are a lot of roads everywhere. Everywhere there is a lot of hospitals, parks, places where you can go with your kids. Because when they were promoting them governments, they only steal the money, the budget for the Nicaragua country. They put it on them packets, and that money fled away to how do you say that in English? Some countries that they allow people to save the money there to, how can I say this?
Dilo en español. Dilo en español.
Paraísos fiscales. I don't know the exact word in English.
Basically, like expropriating, just expropriating.
No, it's like Sweden. You know, in Sweden there are a lot of corrupted people that they save the money there, or Panama. So. Yeah, like, they saved the money there with corruption. They had a lot of like really expensive wedding. For example, there was a first lady that got a ring that cost 2 million cordobas, while the country was struggling with poverty. So that's the way that they promote them government. They can build roads only to them houses, to the houses of them friends, and that's it, between oligarchs. Mm-hmm. But this government is composed by indigenous people, people from the people that they sell in the markets. It's composed by workers. It's composed by professors. It's composed by the public universities, and also it's composed by people that currently they are promoting a lot of innovations, people that are starting maybe a new businesses. This government is supported by everybody. We have a little opposition groups, but they are not really opposition leaders. They are not really opposition leaders because they don't know anything about the law. They like to ask to the US to invade us. They like to ask to the European Union to invade us because they are just the descendants of the people that in the past they stole our resources. So we have some of them generations that they are here right now, and they are angry because this government is promoting a lot of projects for everybody, mostly for us indigenous communities. And now they are against the government because before they used to have maybe 20 cars from the year, from maybe 20 vehicles, and now they cannot purchase that amount because this government is promoting a lot of it's putting some kind of taxes to the rich, but it's making a lot of social investment in the people. More than 60% of our national budget is to support our people. And also in this year, we have the Minister of Hacienda y Crédito Público, which is the entity that is in charge of all economy
public
in
housing.
Nicaragua. Yeah. So he promoted the new plan that we have. It's a plan to continue struggling against poverty, to achieve the goals of the United Nations for 2030. So with this, overall, he was saying to the people that with these projects, right now we invest 60% off to social projects. The goal is to achieve more than 80% off. We are investing a lot in clean energy. Right now we are about 87% off. We are going to reach the 100% off within the next 10 years. Also, he's going to promote the investment in private sectors and also in public sectors. It's going to bring more people that would like to invest in Nicaragua, but people that want to invest, but at the same time that they would like to respect that Nicaragua is a sovereign country that doesn't allow any other nation or any other citizens to be speaking about Nicaragua.
Mhm.
So this small minority of people who are in the opposition, what is, besides maybe complaining of access of power, what are their complaints? What are they complaining about?
To be honest with you, they are complaining because they they cannot they cannot get into the power, and there are many reasons why. Most of the people in Nicaragua, we already know what they are. We already had 16 years of government of the right wing. We had already the dictator of Somoza. Somoza was a corrupted man that bring the army of the U.S. and put it here in Nicaragua, and that was violating the Constitution of Nicaragua. So what is the thing that is common between all of these people? These people always they like to make political campaign. They go to the U.S. because I know that there are some Somocista people that they are in the U.S. right now, that they fled after the revolution of the 1979, and they are really extremists. They promote hate speech against everybody that is socialist, communist, and what do they have in common is that they don't like to go ahead and visit the people. They don't like to go ahead and mess with the people because people already know what they are. They are only corrupted people that they already were in power, and they just stole the money of the people. They didn't promote any kind of good politics for the people. And the worst thing is that they have been traveling since 2007. There are some NGOs. There are some NGOs that are founded by the U.S. budget. It's so sad that the U.S. citizens' budget is used to found this kind of NGOs. These NGOs, they also are part of these opposition leaders because they get together to make different type of strategy against the people. For example, we have some leaders. I don't like to say them names because for me, they're not like really opposition leaders. They are just people that they hate Nicaragua. So what the U.S. government has been doing since always in history, is to promote only the interests. And Nicaragua is being the only country in the region that has been struggling a lot. They invade us with William Walker. They sent two killers to kill one of our presidents. One of our presidents that we had, Zelaya. They sent two killers, Cannon and Gross, two killers that they sent to kill President Zelaya. President Zelaya took these two killers, and by that moment, we used to have in Nicaragua the death penalty. So this president went ahead and applied the death penalty. Then the U.S. government sent one announcement. They sent a la nota Knox. It was a President Knox that sent a letter telling to the president, or you leave the power, or we are going to send the army to invade you and overthrow you. So that was actually one of the first moments in history that the U.S. Messed around with our country, and has been doing that over and over and over and over. So what all of these people have in common is that they always sell them dignity for U.S. dollars. So they like to be founded by the U.S. government. I don't know if you can maybe. I know that all of you know when these people they play the game of the U.S., they attack our people or government. They get some prizes from the U.S. government. They get really quickly the residency. They get really quickly visa. They get really quickly a lot of money there. They get houses over there in the U.S. And that's a price that they are getting just to promote the destruction of the country. Nicaragua people, we are about 6 million people. 6 million people. From these 6 million people, almost 2.5 million, we are part of the political party. We have our ID that shows that we are part of the political party FSLN. So these people that they say that they are opposition leaders, they are not. They are just, I can call them like an agents in service of the U.S. strategy against Nicaragua. You can see the U.S. ambassador in meetings with these opposition leaders, and they only obey what the U.S. government tell them to do. They have more than 14 years to get together like opposition, but they cannot do it. They cannot do it. They cannot do it because at the end of the day, they don't want to get the power for the development of Nicaragua. They only want to get the power because they are in service of the U.S. government. You can check the records of the U.S. aid, the different programs that they develop. You can check the NED, which is an organization in the U.S. Also, a lot of organizations that have been financing to these people, to these individuals that are pretending to make us again a colony of the U.S. And that's not going to happen because we already know about history. Nicaraguan people, we are people that are we have a lot of dignity. We are courageous people, and most of the time people believe that because we are poor people, we don't have that love for the country, which is not true. And these people, they don't love the country. Right now there is a lot of research about these groups because they have been money laundering, because they have been getting funds in the name of X projects, and at the end of the day the money that they get ended up in the personal accounts of these owners of this NGO. And you know that that's a felony in the U.S. You can get a lot of more than 10 years in prison by doing that. You can get a lot of years in prison if you ask to another country to invade the U.S. So what we are doing right now in Nicaragua...
Oscar.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need you to repeat what you just said right now.
Okay, so the U.S. government has been financing opposition in Nicaragua. They are not opposition. They are only agents in service of the U.S. Through different NGOs. There are some organizations like NED, USA, also through the State Department of the U.S. They have been financing these opposition leaders. They are not opposition. They don't have any political party. They don't have any followers. They don't have any structure in the neighborhoods. People already know them. They are not popular. Anybody knows them, but they are only popular in the U.S. media propaganda. That's actually what's overall happening with these leaders. It's so sad that we have some traitors there in that list, but at the end of the day, the vast majority of the people is supporting this process of justice.
And with one point that you said that was really important and something that we're trying to do over here at Anticonquista, especially after the last episode that we had on Nuestra America, is that can you imagine for Americans or for folks in the West, can you imagine, a group of people receiving money from another country with the sole purpose of trying to overthrow the government or try to replace, one group of people, who are in power with another group of people? That's treasonous. It's treason. All right. And so I put up, again, something that we do here is that we do use Western media to try to drive home certain points. Here's a piece by Reuters. I think this was just a couple days ago. So you see the media propaganda campaign. Here's top U.S. diplomat: Nicaragua's Ortega's clinging to power at all costs. This is Anthony Blinken, United States State Secretary.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing that screen there. But Nick, any thoughts before we let Oscar continue?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's true. Like we've seen this. We just saw this happen with Cuba. The overwhelming amount of NGO, third party, like Cubans who weren't even living in Cuba. They were either in Miami, Florida, or some of them, as we did at Anticonquista, showed some of them are in Spain, and they're fomenting unrest and creating a fake opposition to try to convince people in the U.S. that there is a challenge to these to the power in certain Latin American countries that doesn't exist. And the article that you just showed is essentially what we've been seeing all like for the past year now about Nicaragua, which is that President Ortega is, some kind of dictator cracking down on the opposition. But like you said, Victor, that opposition, and like Oscar explained, is not representative of any of the population. You have Oscar, you said 2 million out of a population of 6 million is affiliated with the party, right? That's like 25% of the population. I can tell you right now, there is not a single party in the United States that has that much support from the citizens. Not a single one. So, the amount of representation that the Sandinista party has for the Nicaraguan people is overwhelming. And it makes sense because it's a party, as Oscar said, is a party that is actually doing things for the people and for those communities. I guess my only follow-up question would be, so what we've seen on the U.S. side now is we've seen President Biden and even President Trump before, but we've seen them impose a lot of sanctions on Nicaragua. And I'm curious as to what the harm or the impact has been because of those sanctions, if any, on Nicaragua.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really amazing question because I think that, I was able to study in the university before. I used to hear a lot of fake news about my political party, a lot of things that were passing. When it comes to sanctions, I remember that back in 2007, 2008, they have been promoting a lot of propaganda. If you write in Google Nicaragua, you will see a lot of fake news, a lot of things that are not happening here. They attempt the first time to approve one law that they call NICA Act. Then they went ahead and they approved that law. We have the same NGOs. They traveled to the U.S. The private sector, they went to the U.S. also. And some of these previous leaders, they went to the U.S. So, okay. So the main reason why they went to the U.S. is because they were requesting for sanctions, because they were not happy with this module of development, social inclusion, popularity of our president, Daniel Ortega. It's more than 50 years that our president has been struggling against this evil that we have in the U.S. government. We are not against any government. We're not against any country. We are only against the injustice that they promote in the world. So we got, after the NICA Act law, we have some sanctions against our political leaders. We get sanctions against the public companies. Like we had one oil company that was public. It's called Petronic. It was sanctioned. We have one type of companies that are called cooperativas. Like some people, they come together, they found a business. All of them, they are like associates of the company. It was a really nice way to help the people. Also, they were getting loans. People that they don't have public record, they get some loans, and they get really low interest charges. Not in contrast with the banks that they charge a lot of interest charges. Also, we have been promoting a lot of projects to help people that are trying to innovate, to promote entrepreneurship in different sectors, tourism, languages, etc. So when it comes to these sanctions, once they impose the sanctions, all of these companies that they had a lot of people working over there, they were the first one that they are affected directly with these sanctions. Then when it comes to the price of the oil, Nicaragua, with this company, used to provide oil to the people in a lower price. that goes against the U.S. corporations, the U.S. oil industry. So now that only the U.S. oil is providing the service to the people, the prices are going higher and higher and higher because of they are controlling at some point the distribution of this oil. After that, also we lost a lot of resources because we have one type of treaty with Venezuela, ALBA, which is a group of socialist countries. With this treaty, Venezuela used to provide us oil. We used to provide in exchange meat, rice, beans, different kind of foods. But then with these sanctions, that had to stop, unfortunately. So these sanctions are not affecting only Nicaragua. It's affecting the union that we were developing in Latin America. It's a really nice exchange. I give you this because I have more. You give me this because you have more, and we are struggling like that. Then the sanctions they came to the country, so it was an adjustment that the government had to do when it comes to the prices, taxes, etc. That's actually a way to overcome with these sanctions. And now, actually, the U.S. is trying again to apply one law that they call Renacer. This is actually an initiative that has been promoted by a trader of Latin America. Her name is Maria Elvira. It's a woman full of hate. I don't know why she hates so much our countries. They were asking an invasion, military invasion to Cuba. They have been asking for military invasion to Nicaragua, to Venezuela, and they don't know that when the U.S. Army is coming to different countries, they are not coming in a peaceful way. They go to bomb civilians like they did in Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq. We saw the video that posted Mr. Julian Assange that shows that the army has been bombing civilians in those countries, and that's actually like when you have people that they want to harm you like that, you cannot consider them like a human being. For me, these people are evil. They have a lot of hate in them heart. I don't know what happened to them in the past, but they are promoting the hate against all Nicaraguans because they don't live in Nicaragua. They don't know what is to hear a bomb falling and exploding. I already lived a period of war in Nicaragua, and I don't want to live that again. I don't want that any of our people will live that kind of experience again. And I think that with this type of interventions, only the big corporations in the U.S., like the one that produces arms, I remember the name. I think it was NRA, something like that. But it's really sad that these agents of the U.S. government are trying to promote damage to our country. Thanks God, we recently got a polls. In these polls, it shows that most of the people in Nicaragua, they condemn the U.S. sanctions, more than 98%. More than 98% people support this work that is doing our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, because he's promoting a lot of development, not only for poor people. He also supports the companies here in Nicaragua. He provides a lot of flexibility for investment. So they are complaining because that's actually what they have to do because of the U.S. government desires.
Something that I'm curious about is that Nicaragua has my understanding is that Nicaragua has been able to almost either 100% or very close to 100% secured food sovereignty. So what can you tell us about the agricultural sector, the farming that exists in Nicaragua, how you're able to produce your own food? Can you speak to that a little bit? And what do you call this in Spanish? What type of initiative is this in Spanish? ¿Qué es el nombre de eso? ¿Cómo ustedes lo nombran?
¿A cuál, estimado?
Como food sovereignty, la cuestión de la comida, ¿cómo es que
Okay.
esto es asegurado ahí? Y no sé si
Nosotros,
tiene un nombre, una iniciativa, si es una iniciativa que tiene, me imagino que una iniciativa que tiene
sí,
el país
sí.
abajo de la dirección del presidente, pero ¿cómo que esto funciona allá? How does that work out?
Definitely. So overall, this is actually a nation politic. It was recently announced that it's going to continue working like that. So we have different people that they live in the area of Masaya, Granada, Nandaime, that are local cities. They are people that they have big backyards, and they start to bring some kind of foods like avocado, plantains, rice, beans. They get some loans from one type of project that we call Usura Cero. Usura Cero is actually an initiative to provide loans to single mothers. So these mothers, they get the loan from Usura Cero. They pay really low interest rate, and they only need to get in a group of 9 women, but they have to pay every month in group for the loan. And this initiative has been helping to our people like that. They start to promote innovative in the backyard. So they start to cultivar,
Cultivate.
to cultivate rice, beans, avocado, different kind of fruits, mango. Then what they do later on is that they bring them products to the capital, and then in the capital and the markets they sell, or they sell locally. After that, that's actually like in a social development for the families. But then we have in a really big scale, we have in the north, we have a lot of areas where or people from the countryside, they cultivate rice, they cultivate beans, corn, coffee, oil. They cultivate mostly all of what we need in the national consumption. So this is why our president, once that I participated in a caminata back in the years, he said, if they approve the sanctions against Nicaragua, we are going to struggle because we have a lot of people from the countryside that are already producing what we need for the national consumption. There's also another initiative that we have been promoting. It's called Hambre Cero. Hambre Cero is a really nice project. I really love all the projects that we have as government, also as a political party. Hambre Cero it's like this: the government brings and provide a pig or a cow or a chicken and to a family. They have to have that in them houses, but it's like it's landed. Once they make that these animals they grew or they are reproducing themselves, they have to give the new birth to another family, and so far and so on. And that has been helping a lot of people to have a little bit of animals on them houses. Then they sell the little porks, the little chicken, etc. So it's a really nice initiative. And then we have for people that live at risk right now. So for example, in Managua is a place where, unfortunately, due to the climate change, we have some parts that are a little bit dangerous. When we have rains, we have a lot of flood. So what the government does is that they move people from these dangerous places, and the government build houses to support them. Also, we have a program right now that is called Bismarck Martinez. You know, there's a lot of people in the world, not only in Nicaragua, that they don't have their own property. So in Nicaragua, we have one program that is called Bismarck Martinez. We provide already more than 800 houses to people, families that they didn't have any place where to live before, and that's going to continue in all Nicaragua. That's going to continue working like that. So those are like houses with social principle, actually.
I'm curious then. I'm curious now then. What's your favorite of all the social programs? You say you really like a lot of them, but what's your favorite one that you know of that you think we in the West should know about?
Uh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So, I think that the most shocking that happened to me when I was in the U.S. was that I was a little bit sick. I was in a scholarship program, and then I was sick. I remember that I was almost vomiting, trembling like this. I felt myself really bad because the temperature in Boston, Massachusetts, was really, really, really tough for me. I was not accustomed to that weather. And then I remember that the woman of the program, the leader of the program, she said, "Do you feel good? How do you feel? How do you feel?" I'm dying, I say. I'm dying. I cannot stand anymore. Let's wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit. But why do we need to wait? I was thinking to myself, is this like in Nicaragua that you go to the hospital, you can go to any public hospitals, they will take care of you, and then that's it. You don't pay for nothing. So that was really shocking for me because they wait a lot of time to call an ambulance. When I told them that I was gonna fall down in the floor, they call an ambulance. And after that, the leader was a little bit angry with me. I didn't understood the reason why. But later on, when she was explaining a little bit about what happened, she said that they got a bill of over $1,000 that they had to pay from the budget of the program because we went to the hospital and it works like that. I had my insurance, but they say that that's actually a regular process. All right, so I say to myself, so that means that I almost died because they didn't want it to pay in the hospital. Okay, that was good. I say, oh my God, it's a little bit different. It's a different way of living. So I compare that to here in Nicaragua. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had a family member that got a little bit sick. She got some kind of headache. She was feeling really bad. I bring him to the hospital. We went to the hospital. They take care of her. They make some exams to make sure that she was okay. Then we came back to the house, and that's it. Nobody sending us any bill to that we have to pay later on. So for me, we have the main projects, the main social projects that I will recommend to the U.S. citizens, to any country in the world, is to promote social justice with health, education, with the weather also, social inclusion of all the people, not only the rich people. So why I can tell you this, because for example, I went to the public university, I didn't pay anything. I got my degree, I didn't pay anything. I went to some countries, and I know that in the U.S. you have to get a loan if you want to study. Then when you finish studying, you have to pay for that loan. So I found that really not just that's not justice for me, for the people. For me, the education has to be public, because public education, public healthcare system will provide more people that will survive. Our president Daniel Ortega, Commander Daniel Ortega, he has a principle, and he said that the most important thing that we have to save in this world is the life of each individual in the world. This is why he has been promoting this project. He built already more than 19 hospitals. These hospitals, they have all kind of services. Um, we are attacking cancer with radiotherapy. It's a like
Radiotherapy.
we
Radiotherapy.
radiotherapy. We have two main hospitals that are taking care of that. People that are diseased with the liver, we take care of them also. It's for free. There is no any additional fee. Then for people that they don't live in Nicaragua, in Managua, and maybe they're from Other places they have some houses where they can stay while they have somebody sick in the hospital. So overall, that will be the main projects that I will advise to the U.S. To promote for them people. It's really sad to know that you cannot take they cannot take care of you because it represents money. It represents money that somebody else has to pay. So at the end of the day, that was so like not really human for myself, and I felt myself really disappointed of that system. I think also something that makes Nicaragua a country that is really safe is because here we don't have any. If you want to have here a weapon, that's illegal. You cannot use weapons here. If you want to use weapons, you have to justify the reason why, and you have to pass a medical process to show that you are mentally health. So you will get a permission, but only if you are like a security guard, etc. But then something really sad that I found out is that while we are a safe country, while we don't have any kind of massacres, every day in the news I see a lot of massacres going on in the U.S. And I think that part of it is coming from the system that they have in the U.S. It's true that it's a rich country, but I don't feel that people is happy there. I don't feel that people are proud of the system that they have. And the most shocking for me is that the government is not taking care of the local issues, because I know in the U.S. There is a lot of poverty. I went in Boston. I have been supporting social initiatives outside of Boston, and I was able to see a lot of people suffering with no shelter, with no houses. It was really sad to me to see that. So to be honest with you, I feel myself proud to be here in Nicaragua. When my life was in danger, I say to myself, I will never ever allow that will happen again. I will struggle supporting my leaders, Commander President Daniel Ortega, Vice President Rosario Murillo. They are the best government ever. All of our people, they are with them. They support them. All of what you hear of the Western media, that's actually lies, only lies.
So we're at the 52-minute mark. We'd like to close within an hour. I mean, this has been great. I think the folks who've been tuning in. I saw some comments here. I think folks are really enjoying this. I wanna give a shout out to someone who checked. I mean, this individual. I don't know, where you're from, but they check us out all the time. They had a question. I had two questions.
Okay.
And I want to give this person an opportunity to ask these questions because they tune in almost all the time. And I don't know if you want to answer these questions. You don't have to answer these questions, or if you don't feel.
Okay.
But they had two questions. One, before the European conquest, what indigenous nations were flourishing in Nicaragua? I don't know if you know the answer to that, but prácticamente antes de la conquista de los europeos, ¿cuáles naciones indígenas estaban ahí en Nicaragua?
That's a really when it comes to that question, before the invasion of the European countries to Nicaragua, we have been separated in different areas. We have Chibchas. Okay, we have one group that is called Chibchas, Chorotegas, Managuas. We have some little groups of some kind of Incas, Aztecas, like in other countries. We believe that since we were before of the invasion of Spain and England to Nicaragua, we believe actually that there were a lot of people like moving over and over, like from country to countries. So those actually were the groups that were living here in Nicaragua before. And then also the indigenous communities, Miskitu. And then, overall, those are the main groups that were living here in Nicaragua. The main groups, Managua. There was a group that is called Managuas. We have Nahuals, Azteca, Tolteca, Chibchas. We have also our groups that are indigenous communities like Mayagna, Miskitu. We are like from the one that are surviving the most time in history, actually.
Okay, and then he or she had a follow-up question. or they, is there a rise of people in Nicaragua embracing their indigenous roots like you have in Bolivia and Peru? Do you see, in other words, do you see, tú estás viendo como ahora, en esta época, como un orgullo ahora indígena de nuevo, como que...
To be honest with you, people from Nicaragua, we say that we are multicultural. We are proud of that. I can say that all of Nicaraguan people, they feel proud to have indigenous blood also, because that's true that we got mixed a little bit with some European citizens, but we still are proud of our indigenous blood. So yeah, we are proud of that. I had a friend that was asking me, he's indigenous, Mayana. He was telling me that he wanted to promote an initiative for his community, because he wanted to like make more to make these indigenous groups to participate more and more and more. But then he provided some ideas that he has, and yeah, overall we are proud to be indigenous.
Nick, any other follow-up questions? I got a couple more, but go ahead if you got some.
You could go, Vic.
Well, I just see someone by the name of Ceci keeps chiming in, stating that they are in Nicaragua, and this last statement said, Nicaragua is also the safest country in Central America. We have no gangs endangering our youth like in El Salvador, Honduras, or even Guatemala, despite whatever the misleading media says. Did you want to speak to that a little bit, Oscar?
Yes, definitely. When it comes to Nicaragua, we have a module that is called citizen security. That will be the translation of the name. This is the way that it works is like this. The police officers, they come to the neighborhoods, they participate in different meetings, and they ask to the people, hey, what's going on in this sector? Let us know a little bit so we can provide more reinforcement. After that, in all the neighborhoods, we are well organized. So, for example, if we see that something wrong is going on, we call right away our leaders, and they go ahead and they put them in prison. It comes the police officers. The police officers in Nicaragua, they struggle a lot against any kind of little felony, I can say. In Nicaragua, we don't have groups like that we have in El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. Actually, we receive a lot of people that are coming from El Salvador, like refugees, people that are coming from Honduras, people that are coming from Guatemala, because they say that them countries is really, really, really dangerous. And our president is receiving them here in the system. And what I can tell about this is that all the process is between people. We, people in the communities, along with the police officers, and then when these people are put in prison they have courses. They can learn, maybe they can finish the high school there in prison, or they may start to learn how to put a barber shop, to bake a cake, to promote any kind of small business, so they can innovate whenever they finish them period of condemn. So what we do with this module is that we don't put them in prison and that's it. We put them in prison and we make them to convert themselves to a good citizens. And I know that in the U.S. That's not the case, because I know that prisons are public affairs, and I know at some point that for them it's better to have people in prison than in the street, because they won't have earnings. So overall, that's actually the main reason why. And to finish, also, I want to say something really important about the person that provided that opinion. Thank you so much for watching us, and thank you so much for sharing the truth with your family, with the people, with your community. This will represent a lot for when it comes to us, people that are living here in Nicaragua. So to finish this, I can say that when it comes to the COVID-19, all diseases that we had so far in Nicaragua, we have a health system that is also community. It comes the Ministry of Health along with the community. We make some kind of meetings. We go house by house, speaking with people, providing the measures about COVID-19. Then we have the workers of the health system that they come, they fumigate, they kill the rats, they prevent all kind of disease, and it's really, really, really good projects.
I see another comment by Ceci, who's bringing up a lot of good points here. Ceci says, to back up Oscar's answer, we have a pluralistic policies that allowed our indigenous people to reach its autonomy, and even have regional I'm not sure if governors or governments that are currently in alliance with our central government, the FSLN.
That's correct. That's correct. Most of our people in the Caribbean coast of the North and the South, they have its own governor that has its own way of promote the government there in the Caribbean coast, North and South. So this is actually why we are always thankful with the Sandinista Revolution, and also with our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, and Vice President Rosario Murillo.
So to be clear, you don't have this evil dictatorship that is killing little children and eating people and putting everybody in jail, and everybody's repressed and everybody's unhappy, and this evil dark place in Nicaragua. That's not what's happening in Nicaragua.
To be honest, that's happening in the U.S. That's happening in Palestine. Israel people killing people in Palestine. That's happening in Colombia, that are killing the young people that are protesting right now against Duque. That's happening in Costa Rica, that they don't allow people to go ahead and manifest or protest themselves. That's happening in maybe the U.S. The U.S. colonies. I can call them like colonies because they always say yes to what the U.S. government tell them, like Guatemala, Salvador, Costa Rica, Colombia, Chile. Those countries are really, really, really in a bad situation, and they think that they have the moral authority to speak aloud about Nicaragua. Thanks God, we live in prosperity, development. People is happy. The only people that can be afraid of this system is people that want to cause damage to us. We cannot allow nobody to ask for sanctions to the U.S. government, because that will kill a lot of people. We cannot allow that people will continue violating the law. If these opposition leaders want to go ahead and work in politics, they have to know more about law. They have to know more about what they can do or what they cannot do. Because if they go ahead and they violate the law, like in the US, they will be put in prison, like they did with a lot of traitors that they have in the past. So, for example, the people that were protesting in the US Capitol, more than 400, they are still in prison. The people that were protesting here in Nicaragua violently, burning city halls, burning hospitals, killing Sandinistas, burning people alive. Those people from the right wing, they were put in prison, and the U.S. government was calling them political prisoners. So at the end of the day, is a double moral. I call it like that. And the U.S. has a lot of problems inside of the country. And I hope that they will fix that situation that the citizens of the U.S. have, because if not, I'm sure sooner or later they will live also a revolution, like the same revolution that happened in France, that happens in different countries that they were really oppressing the people. Here, thanks God, this government is not oppressing people. It's just building hospitals, roads. It's giving a lot of subsidy to the public transportation, public education to the universities, public university for preschooler, primary school, high school, also some higher degree like master degree, doctor degrees, and so far and so on. This government is making a lot of good projects for the people. I can invite to all of the people that will see this video, please don't believe the fake media propaganda. They don't care about the lives of the people in our countries, like they didn't care in the past when they were inventing that Iraq, Libya, or Syria, they have massive destruction weapons, and at the end of the day, they were only lies. And also, I want to bring to the point that back in the 80s, the president the president that you have in that moment, he financed the Contra affairs. They were some violent groups that they destroy hospitals, bomb highways. They were trying to kill a lot of people. They gunshot a leader that I really respect. His name is Brenda Rocha. He was 14 years old, and she was in a community that is called El Salto, and more than 15 mercenaries, contras, they gunshot her, and they gunshot everybody that were with her. They were only delivering some food, some goods for the people, and thanks God she survived. But I still remember the way that the bullets sounds. I still remember when my mother was running between gunshots. She was pregnant. I still remember that because of that, my dad had a really horrible trauma. To be honest, I don't want that we live that again. I'm sure that the U.S. government is not going to stop with this. I want to end up. I don't know if one day the U.S. government will see this video. U.S. government, you say that you promote the indigenous right, so please respect our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, because he is including us in our development. U.S. government, you say that you promote the right wing for the women. So if that's true, respect our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, because thanks to him, women in Nicaragua, by law, more than 50% of in public affairs must be women, ministers, deputies, etc. So women also here, when it comes to global gender equality, we are in the top fifth. U.S. government, I know that you say that you are promoting a better world with no pollution. So in this case, respect our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, because thanks to him, we are reaching more than 87% clean energy. You were saying that you promote the respect and the development, the struggle against poverty. So we invite you to respect our president, Commander Daniel Ortega, because he decreased poverty from 48% to 22%. And also, he decreases extreme poverty as well. Also, I just can invite to the U.S. government, please take care of your citizens. Stop messing around with my country, Nicaragua, because Nicaragua is full of people that are ready to always defend our sovereignty, to defend our history, to defend what we have, our territories. We are not going to allow no any other countries to steal our territory like Costa Rica did in alliance with Colombia, Honduras, and the U.S. back in the years. And because of that, we lost a lot of territories in the Caribbean coast of the north and also in the south. And also we lose some important territory with Costa Rica, Nicoya and Guanacaste, because they were in alliance with the U.S. government. So overall, that's actually my message to people that can see this video.
I think that's a great way to end this segment. Oscar, we thank you. We hope we can do this again really soon. I promise you will always have a space here to talk about anything that's happening in your country, to defend your country, to defend the sovereignty of your peoples. And so, to the audience again, we always thank you as well. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please consider donating. As we've donated now, we've sent over $100,000 all over Latin America to revolutionary and progressive groups. The last group that we supported was in the Dominican Republic. Again, Oscar, thank you to our audience, and we will end the program there. This is Sons of Fidel, episode 35. Again, please check us out at anticonquista.com. Thank you.
Gracias, Oscar.
A la orden. Have a nice day.